Aaron Rodgers has finally signed with the team. We can actually discuss where he's going to be next year. I'm looking forward to this. And just overall, this is going to be about my thoughts on the signing and what this means for Pittsburgh. And if you have any thoughts down below, please drop them. I'm curious to what the public is thinking about Aaron Rodgers heading into this year. So as of last week, I can't remember the exact day, but Aaron Rodgers signed a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for me personally, my initial reaction is I'm not moved by this move. No pun intended. I don't love it. And the reasons I don't love it is because, well, number one, Aaron Rodgers is 41 years old. We don't have to sugarcoat it. He is officially UNC status at this point. And number one, it's a lot to rely on health-wise. I mean, we saw that 2 years ago when he got hurt 4 plays into the season, which was, of course, unfortunate. But at the same time, that's something you have to consider with, just any aging player, but specifically, again, a 41-year-old quarterback. It's going to be a high concern for me personally. Also, when it comes to his play, Aaron Rodgers is, I would say, I don't know where he would rank for me personally out of 32 quarterbacks, like starting quarterbacks, but I definitely can't say he's elite anymore. I mean, we have not seen elite play from Aaron Rodgers since, the 2021 season, I think, was the last time he won MVP. I can't remember if it was that year or the year prior, but regardless, it's been a bit since Aaron Rodgers has really given us, his standard of play, which, again, late 2010s, even throughout the 2010s, was phenomenal stuff, but we're not at that point anymore heading into the 2025 season. And again, this is not saying Aaron Rodgers is a bad quarterback. I actually enjoyed what he was doing at the end of the season last year with the Jets. But my biggest things with him is, number one, his arm is just not as good anymore. He, specifically on the deep ball, it's just not as accurate. I still think he can make those plays here and there, but I don't love his deep ball at this point. Also, when it comes to his mobility, again, similar to the age, it's going to continue to get worse, and worse. I mean, again, seeing him try to scramble sometimes out of some of those Jets pockets was a little rough to watch. But again, he's just not necessarily as much of the mobile / play extending quarterback that we're used to. And again, I'm just not in love with his arm at the same time. Now, he still can operate an NFL offense. That's not saying that. He deserves to be starting in the league. But at this point of his career, I can't say Aaron Rodgers is an elite quarterback, and I don't think he necessarily elevates talent at this point. I think he can do a good job of running an offense and, getting guys ready and all that type of stuff. But when it comes to actually elevating play, specifically from his physical traits, which made him so good, again, where he was able to just pretty much be anywhere in the pocket and still make a laser accurate throw back in the day. I just don't see that happening this year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. For Pittsburgh, I guess the move makes sense. I mean, it pretty much was unofficially like what they were going to do throughout the offseason. It was rumored so much because the main rumors for Rodgers were, is he going to go to Minnesota? That was a discussion, but that obviously did not happen. There was a couple other ones that I can't remember, but it was mostly Minnesota, and if he was going to maybe come back to the Jets, which the new regime did not want him there. And then, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, because Russ left and Fields left as well. And he obviously has just signed, but he's been linked to this team for, I would say, the last month or two. It's been like that. And again, for Pittsburgh, it makes sense. I mean, they don't have really any other good quarterbacks at this point. There's Mason Rudolph, who's a solid backup, but he's not going to do anything for you. And then they just drafted the rookie Will Howard as well. So they were kind of in a tough spot. You got to go with this. And I guess from Pittsburgh's perspective, they're trying to maximize this roster while they still have some of this talent. You still have Tomlin. You traded for Metcalf. But for me personally, I don't love the whole thing. Like, I'm not in love with Rodgers at this point of his career. Again, just continuing to reiterate that I do still think he's a starting quarterback, but I'm not in love with him in general as a quarterback at this point. Like, he just doesn't do much for me. And then also, I'm just not in love with this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Other than DK Metcalf and Pat Freiermuth, you really have absolutely no one to throw to. I mean, when it comes to the receivers, you have a veteran in Robert Woods, who, again, is a solid veteran, but what are we expecting out of Robert Woods in 2025? And then you have Roman Wilson, who's coming off of an injury last year in his rookie season. I just feel like that's a lot to expect out of the kid when he's so young, and we'll see if he's ready to, get accustomed to playing with Rodgers, because we know how much Rodgers loves the vets, as we saw with the Jets with both Cobb and Devontae Adams. So I'm not in love with the receivers that he has, and I would argue it was honestly better in New York when he was there, just with the talent that they had in that position. Also, when it comes to the running backs, you have Warren, which he's a solid back, but is he an RB1? I don't know. I do like the running back Caleb Johnson that they got out of Iowa. He should be good, but again, still, he is a rookie. How much can we expect out of him? I'm not sure. And then I do like the RB3 that they have, Kenny Gainwell from Philadelphia, who I'm a big fan of as an Eagles fan. The guy does make plays in big moments. He's not necessarily a high-volume back, but he's a guy that can maybe get 10, 12 touches, a couple catches a game. He can make some key plays, but he's not elevating your offense. So I'm not in love with just their personnel in general. And then when we look at the offensive line for the Steelers, it really wasn't that good, in my opinion, last year. They were not that good of a they were not that good of a running team last year. Now, I think partly that was due to having Najee Harris as well running the ball. He's just not much of an explosive runner, but they really weren't the best run blocking team. And then when you look at the offensive line as well for their sacks, they gave up 49 sacks last year, which ranked 10th in the NFL. And for me personally, seeing how Rodgers was last year with the Jets, where he lacked a both consistent run game due to that offensive line, and the pass blocking wasn't too great at times, it just concerns me because, again, he's not mobile at this point. He's not a mobile quarterback. How many times can a 41-year-old get hit and want to keep taking those hits? So I just really think the entire mesh of him as a quarterback at this point, the personnel, and then just overall, specifically the offensive line, I just don't know if those things mesh. And the Steelers aren't already a very offensive-oriented team already, so it's just not the best fit in my opinion. I guess both parties are making it work. I mean, Rodgers still wants to play, and the Steelers were pretty desperate, and they need to contend lightly with this roster and the talent that they have at this point, because again, guys are getting older. Watt and Fitzpatrick, they're getting older. Hayward's getting older. Like, they're trying to maximize this roster, but I just don't think this is going to be the best fit in my opinion. For me personally, I think that this results in a typical 8 to 9 win Steelers season. I haven't fully looked at their schedule yet, and I'll do that later as we get closer to the NFL season. I plan on doing that for all the teams. But personally, I don't see it. The Ravens are by far the best team in that division. Cincinnati is only trying to get a little bit better. Yes, they have lost some pieces, but overall, I mean, I definitely like their offense more. And again, this is 2025. This is an offensive league. Though, of course, we also saw how bad their defense was last year. But still, I like them more. I mean, maybe you can argue Pittsburgh's better than Cleveland just because of Cleveland's situation. But again, this is the AFC. This is not the NFC. This is the AFC. Let's keep it 100%. If you told me that, and number one, I think the Steelers are going to max be maybe a 7 seed. Maybe they get a 6 seed. They're not winning the division. They're not winning the AFC North unless something drastic happens in Baltimore. I don't see them winning the division, so they're already going to have to go in on the road. And let's, again, be completely honest here. Can they go into Baltimore and win a playoff game? I don't have them in that one. I mean, they didn't last year. Can they go into Kansas City against Mahomes, Andy, Spags, and that defense in Arrowhead in a cold night? I don't see it. Can they go into Buffalo and do that? I don't see it. Like, there is so much talent in the AFC, and again, if you're noticing a trend, it's high-quality coaches, but even better quarterbacks as well, and quarterbacks that can elevate talent. And I just think that these teams are going to be too much to handle for Pittsburgh in really any of these situations. And I think the Steelers fans know that. I didn't really see any Steelers fans that were like, "Yippee, we got Aaron Rodgers!" Like, oh my god! Like, no, I haven't seen a single bit of that. I mean, Terry Bradshaw even said straight up, "Don't come to the team. We don't want you on the team." So, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting mix. Part of me is happy that Rodgers is still in the league. I don't know if I'm necessarily prepared for him to retire, but man, last year at times was so ugly with the Jets. They lost in so many weird, frustrating ways, such Jets season. And then again, just seeing how Rodgers has been off the field, whether you agree with some of the things he's saying or not, he is a bit of a distraction at this point. And I love his game, but I'm just curious, how is his dynamic with Coach Tomlin going to work? Because Coach Tomlin doesn't let a lot of things fly. So I'm curious to see how that goes. And then again, can they even do anything with this team? Like I just see them winning 8 to 9 games and maybe squeaking in the playoffs. I just don't see much else for this team. So I don't know. That's my initial thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers signing. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think he's going to take the Steelers to the promised land? Is number 7 coming to Pittsburgh, or do you see it how I see it? This is realistically going to be an 8-9 win team. We will see. But regardless, if you like the video, feel free to give it a like. And if you like my type of content, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be continuing to break down the NFL, the NBA, specifically the NBA Finals. We got the draft coming up in a little bit. We, of course, have baseball, and we also have some soccer going on as well. So a lot to break down on the channel. If you like it, feel free to subscribe and stick around. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys on this one, and I will see you on the next one. Peace, guys.